there. I trust you're all doing fine during this period. Today I want to talk about the message component in communication strategy. How to ensure that you deliver effective messages in your communication strategy. You know, we've talked about communication strategy and we talk about the various components from objectives to target audience to message channels, evaluation of communication, and even sometimes the budget or cost of communication. Today, I just want to focus on the message component, the message strategy. How do you ensure that the messages you develop in your communication strategy support you and help you deliver the most effective communication? The whole purpose of the message in the communication strategy is to ensure that whatever it is that you want to pass, the information you want to pass to the target audience is effectively passed, that it gets to the target audience effectively, that the target audience are able to understand it, that it gets to them in the right manner and at the right time. One of the interesting things about communication, and you know this even from a point of your own interactions, your family, your colleagues, many times we communicate thinking that really what we are saying is very simple and very clear, and then we are surprised to find that someone has still not understood us very well. So think about this communication where you're communicating even with outsiders and you see the risk of being misunderstood is very high. And that's why it's important to be strategic. It's important to have a strategy. How will you develop the message? How will you ensure the message meets the basic principles of effective communication so that it can be understood? And of course, then you can get to meet your objective of communication. So I want to talk about the 7 principles of effective messaging. It's 7 principles of messages that work so that you can incorporate this in your communication strategy. When you come to defining and expounding the question of message development, you can be able to focus on this and expand it. You want your message to resonate with your target audience. You want it to be understood. You want it to be believable. You want it to be credible and all these things. And the 7 principles that we are going to talk about ensure that all these aspects are well captured and well understood. Now to the 7 C's of effective messages. First is clarity. This means that you have to work to ensure that your message is very clear, that the message is clear in terms of the person who you are directing your message to, your target audience. A message can be clear to one audience but not clear to another. So in this particular case, when we talk about clarity, we mean ensuring that your message is clear to the specific target audience that you are focusing on. To enhance clarity, you need to ensure that you focus on the target audience, that you use words that are familiar within the target audience, that you communicate in terms that mean the same thing among many people within the target audience. And in many cases, like in business communication, we talk about using the consumer language. If you are speaking to a target audience, you learn the words they use, the language they use, how they say things, and then you say it to them in a way that is that familiar, that is consistent with how they communicate. Even if you're talking to voters, there is what we call voter language. How do voters speak about that subject, about the economy or whatever it is? So you use language that is familiar and that is common to what is used by the target audience. Clarity also means that the message is simple and familiar and therefore easy to understand. The second simple is correctness. Correctness means that the message needs to be accurate. It needs to be accurate and correct in terms of grammar, in terms of the information that you have made an effort to check that the information you're passing is the correct information, that the details you have put are correct. I don't know whether you have seen how sometimes like politicians get out on the table, even very senior politicians, and then they give messages where the information is not correct. And that makes people very unable to trust the message. It brings a question of credibility. So for you to get credibility, the message must be correct. The figures that you use, the words that you use, the details you provide must be correct and accurate. The third principle is completeness. And this means that the message you give must be complete. It should have the elements of being able to enable people to make a decision. The target audience who you are communicating with, they must be able to make a decision based on the information you provide them. So if it's not complete, then maybe they cannot make a decision. Maybe it's not enough. They have to start looking for more information for them to be able to say yes or no. So completeness is critical. The first point is courtesy. This means that we need to use language that is respectful. You need to speak in a respectful manner. And by the way, to be courteous also means you show respect by paying attention, making the effort to understand who are these people that I'm talking to. So if you do not make an effort to understand your audience very well, and you go and speak to them without really a clear picture of where they are coming from, where they are, you can even come across as not having courtesy. So courtesy is not just basic respect. It's about respect in terms of how you develop the message, how you demonstrate focus and concern about the person that you're targeting. Now, the fifth point is conciseness. And I think many of us communicate without focus to conciseness. So we use so many words to say the same thing, and I will find people want to cut to the chase. They want to get to the real point. In this conciseness, we are talking about communication that is to the point, that does not waste time, that goes directly to the key focus points that you want to get to the audience. So it's about really communicating in a way that does not waste time. You do not use so many words to avoid verbosity, or what some people call it verbal diarrhea. Too many words, but which are meaning the same thing. So be brief and to the point so that you respect the time of the target audience. The sixth point is concreteness. Concreteness basically means that you use specific messaging, use specific words, be specific in terms of the figures, the words, the facts you provide. They are specific and relevant to this particular case. So be definitive in terms of the information you provide. Don't go outside of what is relevant to the core reason of your communication. The message must be relevant and specific to the agenda. It also means that you use facts and figures that help resolve the questions that are being asked in this communication, or for the topic, relevant for the topic. The seventh and final point is consideration. And consideration basically focuses on the question of who is the target audience. Are you considerate of the target audience? Are you focused on the purpose of communication? Are you focused on the intention? Because we say that we never communicate without intent. What's the intent? So can you have consideration about the purpose, the people, and the objective? This aspect of consideration also means that you have to show the relevance, that you have to show the benefit. Be focused on that audience and show the benefits that we stand to gain, or help them understand the message based on where they are coming from. And in communication, we are always saying that you need to come from the known to the unknown. So if you have consideration, you know this target audience very well, you take time to really look at them and ask, what do they know? What else do they need to know? So that you come from the known to the unknown. You move them smoothly in a considerate and respectful manner. There you have it. These are the 7 principles of effective messaging, of developing effective message strategies for your communication strategy, and to basically ensure that your communication strategy is successful. To sum up, the 7 principles of effective messages are: first, clarity; second, correctness; third, completeness; fourth, courtesy; fifth, conciseness; sixth, concreteness; and seventh, consideration. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for staying with me. Please share the video, like it, and subscribe for more like this. Thank you very much.